It's spooky season, and the Arizona Coyotes continue to be haunted by blown leads and 1-goal losses at Mullett Arena. Thank you for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm cowgirl Leah Merrill here with Darth Petey.
We're taking a trip. Definitely taking a trip to the dark side. Coyotes lose another one in the Mullett. 0-2 in the Mullett.
0-2 in the Mullett. Bummer, but I guess it was a closer game. It was an exciting game. Once again, the Coyotes had the lead, had their moments of looking good. Unfortunately, they just couldn't overcome the superstar power New York Rangers and get the win. But there's still some good to talk about, which we will. And for the sake of Petey, who I know is not thriving in his outfit right now, let's just kick things off. Now. Let's just kick things off right off the bat with tonight's game. By the numbers, get it out of the way. 39 shots on goal by the New York Rangers. I mean, that's unbelievable. It feels Connor Ingram is getting the Karel Vejmelka treatment of getting a billion shots on goal. And then the Coyotes, once again, we said this on Friday night, 20 shots on goal is just not going to get it done, especially against a goalie like Igor Shesterkin. Coyotes power play stayed hot, though, 1-for-1 on the power play. Rangers, unfortunately, got on the board on their power play, which we'll talk about later with Petey's keys. Faceoffs pretty equal there, but hits 34 for the Rangers, 27 for the Coyotes. Petey, what's your initial
There's a lot
takeaway?
of things to break down here. First of all, the Rangers get 39 shots. They've got 39 or more shots in 6 of their 10 games. They're an offensive powerhouse. You got to limit their shots. And one way to do that is to stay out of the penalty box. And we talked about that. They got to stay out of the penalty box. Then you look at the Coyotes shot on goal, 20 against Shesterkin, and we both thought it was going to be Halak tonight on the back-to-back game against the Dallas Stars, but it's Shesterkin again, and you're not going to win a game getting 20 shots on Shesterkin. Surprising you can get 2 goals past him. He's elite. He's the best goalie in the league right now, so that surprised me. The hits, it's Ryan Reeves, man. It's all Ryan Reeves. You look at Ryan Reeves' hits for the night. He led everybody on the ice. Oh, how many did he have? 7 hits. Wow. Yeah, he was a physical force, but I didn't feel like the Coyotes were getting pushed around. I thought they were just as physical back at the Rangers. It was just Ryan Reeves that made the difference there. Honestly, the Coyotes come out of this game 3-2 against what I think is the best team or one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Again, it's a win for me. Yep. We're excited. We pulled the goalie. We stayed in until the very end. You look at that third period with Michelli and Crouse right around the crease, had an opportunity to tie the game with under 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was I mean, they almost had it. This could have been another overtime situation, just like Friday. And not only that, at the beginning of the third, there was an amazing chance too. So it's not like, I know the 20 shots on goal makes it seem like 40, it was basically 2-1 the shots by the Rangers, but the Coyotes did, when they had their chances, I will say. But you're going against the best goalie in the world. You're going against, a very superstar heavy team. So, but I can stomach a 3-2 loss against the New York Rangers, Petey.
Yeah, and one of the things, and you go back to the first period, and the first thing that's kind of turned the tide is Liam O'Brien getting a penalty. It was halfway through the period, and I thought the Coyotes were hanging in there and playing pretty well, and I go, oh, now it's going to change. And now the Rangers are going to take over. And you know what? Ingram was absolutely lights out. And the rubber they threw at him on that power play, it was Trocheck, Panarin, Zibanejad, and Kreider. Every one of them had a shot that could have been shot for a goal. It was amazing.
I know.
It was all Ingram.
And on Bally, they showed that power play from the end camera, and something about that made it even more stressful. Like, I had anxiety watching it, but the Rangers had 4 shots on goal in that power play alone. That's a fifth of the shots the Coyotes had this entire game. I mean, they were just an unbelievable force. You don't want to see those guys circling your net, but Connor Ingram was an absolute brick wall in net, not just during then, but throughout the whole game as well. He really shined.
Yeah, and after that, you saw it. Trocheck gets a breakaway right after that. Then Hayton hits the post. And you go, oh my goodness, off the post. If that goes a little bit more to the left, it's 1-0 Yotes. And I go, oh my goodness, they're in this one. And you talk about the second game in a row where you've seen this ice, and they've talked about it in the national media, and you've heard a lot about the ice. But boy, is that a fast game. And that
Oh
if
my
they can keep
God.
up with the Rangers, and I thought they skated with the Rangers. I mean, shots on goal were a little lopsided, and I think partly we said the penalties, but there's another fast team coming in here Tuesday. So I think teams are going to like this ice on the Mullett. It's a quick, fast, entertaining hockey game. So kudos to the Yotes for hanging around this one. I know the Rangers had the back-to-back and had the majority of the better chances, but I tell you what, Connor Ingram made it close through one. It's 0-0 at the end of one period, and then finally it's started to turn. But Lawson gets the first one, but right away Coyotes respond on the power play, and that power play, Leah, I know I'm going to throw numbers out, but you probably have numbers because you're really good at that, at your research. That's their 9th power play goal in 8 games.
I actually didn't have that.
Do you know how many games it took them to get 9 last year? They got 9 in 8 games this year. Want to take a guess? How many it took them to get 9 last year?
17?
29.
Oh!
Almost 30 games into the season to get their 9th goal. It was December 17th. So yeah, they're a little bit ahead of their power play pace from a year ago. Yeah, that's outstanding. I mean, good for them. They're 1 for 1. Their percentages are going to go up. They're going to stay top 10 in the league on the power play.
Wow.
Everything we want in a rebuild was here. Got great goaltending, good individual efforts, exciting game till the end, and we got to see a really good hockey game against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. So I'm chalking it up as a win.
I am too, and POB in the chat said, "Don't talk about it being close. Close doesn't get you any points. It's okay. We don't want.
That's okay. Yeah, we don't want. That's okay.
It's okay. We don't want that." And then Sterling said, "This one kind of summed it up well. This one sucks to lose. We kept up with a great Rangers team, put on an entertaining game, and lost. That's what we want, right?" Bedard. Yes, Sterling.
It is.
You are right.
It is. But if you're going to win games, and we said this before, if you're going to win games, win these. Beat Toronto.
That's what I
beat Toronto and the
thinking.
Rangers.
Like lose every game. I don't care, but beat Toronto, beat New York, beat Colorado. Beat those top teams. That's what I want. Just for the chaos and the drama. I just love the fact that the Coyotes can upset. I'm just all about the Coyotes causing chaos in the league. Why not?
And everybody gets just totally in fuego when the Coyotes beat these good teams, and it was close. And you know what? The Rangers, I thought, poured it on at times. But they weren't, I mean, other than the power play where they zipped it around, there were just a few skirmishes, but I thought the Coyotes looked good. Again, the Coyotes team is not a playoff team this year. That's as good a team as they're going to face in the Eastern Conference. So I think that's great. You said individual efforts. We talked about Michelli. I thought Michelli distributed the puck well, skated well. There were moments that I got this kid really, really high-end skill and had the opportunity, like we said, to tie it in the third period. So I thought he was great. And we haven't talked about my guy.
Oh my gosh, I was wondering when you were going to bring him up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You betcha. You betcha. Nicky Bjugstad with his first. Yeah, it was good then. Yeah, it was really good. So the
unbelievable goal,
first.
I mean, he shot on net, got his own rebound, backhand, his first goal as a Coyote, his first goal since April 24th. And the rush was a result of a save that Connor Ingram made at the other end of the ice. Speaking of Connor Ingram, touching pretty much every part of this game, it led to, the offense moving the other way. And that's what led to that goal from Clayton Keller, who carries on his point streak against the New York Rangers, and Dylan Guenther, 1 of 2 assists from him tonight. And I'm already seeing comments about Guenther and it's like a broken record, this conversation about him. Does he stay or does he go? But he's making a case for himself. So good for your boy, Bjugstad.
Yeah, pretty excited about him. First of many for the Minnesota native, Nicky Bjugstad. And we talk about Guenther. That's going to be heating up. It's coming. Like the conversation's that was the 7th tonight. And they're going to have to make a decision. Oh, I've said this all along. I said it in training camp. I said it early. He's going to go back. I don't know now.
5 points in 7 games.
We talk about earning a spot, and he has to come out and impress, and I think he's done that. The issue is going to be what happens when Schmaltz comes back. And I know it's a ways off, but then somebody's got to come out, and who is that? I don't think it's Guenther. Right now, this team is lacking in offensive prowess, and they need help scoring goals. And right now, Guenther is one of the few bright spots that's allowing them to do that. I don't know how you take him out of the lineup. I really don't know how you send him back to junior. And believe me, I am on the top of the train saying send him back. But I don't know how you do that now.
I know he's making a case for himself, which is what we've said, unless the player makes a case for himself, which he's doing, then we're going to err on the side of send him back. But at this point, if they decided to keep him, I think I would be okay with that decision. But I swear we talk about this every and not only did he have 2 assists tonight, he had a few really great shots on net too. So he wasn't just getting on the score sheet with assists, but he also was, making his presence known. Unfortunately, he did take that penalty that led to the Rangers power play goal that ended up being the game winner, which was a bit of a bummer. But again, he's going to learn every single game, and the Coyotes just can't take as many penalties as they have been, and that leads into the keys from today. So why don't we go ahead and pull those up? The Petey's keys from earlier, and mostly I just need to take this off because I am sweating. But Petey, why don't you go ahead and go over the keys?
I'm right there with you, but it is hot. That mask. No seam plays. We talked about the Rangers' ability to play east to west. You really saw it on the power play from Panarin to Zibanejad. They call it. We saw it. The Royal Road is what they call it in New York. I saw on Twitter today. It's impressive, Panarin's ability to find players through seams across the ice. I thought the Coyotes did a good job other than on the power play. And that's almost impossible to stop because they have so many options. No penalties. Well, it ends up being the difference of the game. And goaltending, Ingram was absolutely razor sharp. He was fantastic tonight. So I think they checked the keys, except the big one. They couldn't take penalties against this team. You knew 3 penalties and you're going to end up giving up a goal against this power play. It's just too dominating. So I think that was the one that really needed to stay off the board for these guys to get a chance to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. But, the other points, the goaltending was one that was really great tonight. And that's why we've decided to crown Connor Ingram tonight's DraftKings King of the Game, because of those 39 shots he faced, he had 36 saves for a .923 save percentage. So congratulations to Connor Ingram, who I feel like has really had a turnaround. Obviously, he kind of had a rough go for his first start as a Coyote, but then he got a win. I was actually surprised he was back in net so soon. Just given his split, how the split's been going with Vejmelka. Vejmelka played well on Friday night, I thought. And Connor Ingram played well too. And if Vejmelka and Ingram can play to the level that they played this weekend, I'm comfortable with this goaltending situation going forward for the rest of the season. Maybe it is one of those things that as Ingram's getting his feet under him, it could be like the wedgie-veggie situation that we had last season. That would be the best case scenario for this team and where it is right now.
You're looking at 2 goalies that played outstanding back-to-back in the numbers that Vejmelka had in the opening night in the Mullett, and then tonight. Those are 2 outstanding performances. And you're right, it's back to the, I don't even know if you call them 1A and 1B. It's thing 1, thing 2. It's the Cat in the Hat. Do you know that one? Cat in the Hat? No.
Yes, I do.
Do you? Okay, there's a reference. You actually copy that. So yeah, I think that the disappointing thing for me is I just want the nickname. Like, what we need a wedgie veggie. We got to come up with something. Somebody in our members Discord needs to come up with a new nickname for this goaltending tandem, because I don't know what
Connor and Carell.
Yeah, it's going to take some work, I think. No,
I don't know.
That doesn't quite ring through. But if they can get this kind of goaltending, this is what we've said all along. They need goaltending that can keep them in hockey games. They got that. It makes it exciting. It gives players hope, and you go, gosh, we got a chance. And I tell you what, Ingram just looked solid tonight. He was square to the puck. He was solid, and you felt, he's going to make this save. You just felt it. And when you get that, it gives the bench a boost of confidence. So it's exciting that they've had back-to-back performances, outstanding by both of their goaltenders. So it's something right now that they needed to shore up from their 6 goals against in the first 6 games of the year.
More to get to with this game, but he's here because he doesn't have to go as many flights or floors in Mullett Arena. It's Craig. Craig's calls.
What's up, guys?
Craig, you're so much faster now that you don't have
crazy.
to take the long journey to the press box. It's just
it's a
quick
really short trip.
2 floors, 1 floor.
We still need to work on his stairs graphic because
We're going to.
Yeah, me huffing and puffing.
we need that break to get
Every
before we
time
throw to
every
Craig.
time the press box security guard saw me on Friday night, I was like out of breath because I'm running up the stairs to the press box. It's like, I promise, I'm fine.
I know. Yeah, we didn't take the elevator there. Anyway, Craig, did you talk to anybody? Did you get to talk to anybody?
Yeah, we
Connor?
talked to Mr. Minnesota. I'm sure you want to hear all. Do you want me to
It
repeat?
was my
his
vote
words?
for king of the game, but I got outvoted.
Do you want me just to quote him word for word, Petey?
Yeah,
you
of
can just
course.
listen?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
talked
but you have to
Nick
say it
Gatlin.
with a Minnesota accent, Craig.
Oh yeah.
Do they use expressions like "boy howdy" up there too?
Oh boy, howdy. No, I don't know where I picked that one up. I got that on the streets of Nashville. I'm not sure.
And we talked to Connor Ingram, which was interesting to me because when I talked to him in Pittsburgh, he didn't even know what time zone he was in, and then he gets the game in Montreal, and they were awful in front of him. The last 2 games, he's really stabilized. He said he just feels comfortable, right? His girlfriend and his dog are here. He's settled in. He's learning the personnel, and he's given them 2 good performances. I thought he was. I'm sure you guys talked about this already, so I apologize for repeating, but I thought he was really good tonight.
Yep, we crowned him king. So
there you go.
To usurp Petey's vote for Nick Bjugstad.
I wanted to ask you guys what you thought of that Dylan Guenther offensive zone penalty. Did you get a good look at it?
Well, it depends because later it looks like he was holding his stick, but it looked like early like he got his stick up underneath his arm. So I don't know if it was a pretty soft call. What you thought from your vantage point?
It was hard to see actually from my vantage point because it happened on the near boards. Andre wasn't happy with it at all. He didn't even want to address it. He was so disgusted with the call. And I know obviously fans don't like the call, but they don't like any penalty call on the Coyotes. So I was just wondering if you guys got a closer look at it.
Yeah, to me, Craig, if you're looking what happened after that later as he continued to go down the boards, then the Ranger player was absolutely holding his stick close to his body, so holding a stick should have been called. But I think the call was made prior to the blue line when his stick first went underneath his hands. Ticky-tack, maybe. But yeah, his stick was definitely up in there. You can't be parallel underneath the hands.
Yeah,
but I think fans were upset at the holding. Yeah,
he
got the hands early.
Okay, that's a call they make every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's unfortunate, and I think people were looking at the holding the stick after that caused that. But I thought overall Guenther had a good game, and we talked about that too, and his ability to move the puck. And Craig, your vote, is he heading back to Edmonton?
I don't know, but I'm going to be writing about him for Tuesday, so stay tuned for that.
Well, there you go.
I'm just scrolling up in the comments a little bit here. It's actually pretty funny that just the dialogue going on in the comments. Some negativity. Someone saying, "I can't believe you guys are tanking after 8 games." Just welcome to the tank. I guess I don't know.
Tanking after 8 games. Talk about 90 games. We're 90 games in.
Who said that? So the kid. Wow. Well, yeah. Welcome to
welcome to the PHNX Coyotes podcast.
Yeah, this is what we do for a living.
Not been paying attention.
This is what we do for a living.
But also comments about Mullett Arena, which is so Nicholas had said, and don't worry about finding them, Sean. I scrolled way up, but Nicholas said didn't get home in time from the home opener to catch the post game show. Wanted to say that I loved Mullett. That's a legit great arena. Size be damned. That night was a success. And then Blue Liner Hockey said first game at Mullett and it was pretty fun. The energy is great. Obviously, Craig, all 3 of us were there Friday night. I'm curious from your perspective what it was like tonight on TV. We saw a lot of blue jerseys, heard a lot of "Let's Go Rangers" chants, and in our members only Discord, people who were there were sending pictures of the student section. Seemed to be fewer students and more maybe older Rangers fans. So just curious what it was like there tonight.
Well, it was still good atmosphere, but yeah, there were more Ranger fans. And listen, we're used to that, but there was that chant for a while where it was competing chants. "Let's go Rangers, let's go Coyotes." They went like 40 times. Eventually, I just wanted them to shut up, to be honest, because they just wouldn't stop.
That's Craig bringing the excitement. I love it.
But it was a pretty good atmosphere tonight.
Actually, that the babies were like loud events. That's what you need for.
No, it was still good here. And we've talked about this. I'm wondering what the weekdays are going to look like against Florida and Dallas. That's a different story. The New York Rangers always draw well here. And look, I know there were probably people looking at it and saying, why are some of those seats empty? It was the same issue. People were moving around this concourse. They were in the club. There were a lot of people up top. The place was full again tonight, so it was a pretty good atmosphere. Oop, they're turning out the lights
I was
on
curious.
me, apparently.
They're saying, get out. And obviously we heard the goal horn tonight. That was one thing that was missing Friday night. Were there any other changes or adjustments that they made? I know there was talk on Friday about moving where the scouts were sitting. Obviously there were 80 plus media members on Friday. Just small differences. Anything you noticed?
No, I think all that stuff is on hold really until these 4 games are over. We're not even actually going into the locker room, to the dressing room after games. They're going to wait on that until the annex is open as well. So for these first 4 games, they're bringing Andre and the players out to I'm sure you saw the backdrop we were interviewing a little bit earlier. Yeah, that's nothing, no major changes that I noticed from this game, from the last one.
Yeah, and Nicholas made a good point. You can excuse a lot of Rangers fans being here. It's the only game they'll play this season. And a lot of New Yorkers moved to Arizona. And why wouldn't they? Because it's a beautiful place to live. But another question for you, Craig. I saw someone was taunting you with a hot dog full of ketchup right next to you.
Yeah, that was Mike Gold with Daily Faceoff, and we're going to send him right back to Canada tomorrow. Send him back to Calgary because it wasn't just a little bit of ketchup on it to Tommy. It was drowning in ketchup. It was disgusting to look at. I almost had to leave the building.
Did you see, because it was Halloween, a lot of people were in costume. Howler was wearing a hot dog costume and it only had mustard on the hot dog.
It's because Howler has taste. Howler has class. Howler has class.
Oh my goodness. I had to bring that up because how could I not? But Craig, what we really want to dive into, which I know we're going to get away from the game for a minute, but this is important and people were asking about it today on Twitter. If you haven't read Craig's story already today on gophnx.com, he broke some news pretty much about the Tempe City Council, the proposed arena and entertainment district in Tempe, and this going to a public referendum for the people to vote. And I know it, in the Discord and on Twitter, it got a lot of people's attention and wondering what exactly this means. So, Craig, I'm going to throw it over to you to kind of give a Spark Notes version of what's going on and what we can all expect.
Well, I think the bullet points of it at this point. That Javier Gutierrez already told reporters on Thursday that the Tempe City Council would vote on November 29th. And that vote's still going to go forward. So the council is going to let everyone know how they feel about this proposal on November 29th. And I expect them to vote in favor of it. I think there's widespread support for it. And that's no surprise after we saw the 5-2 vote in June. We'll see how it plays out. But the referendum is probably also coming in November. I'm certain it's coming in November at this point. And that means that it's going to be put to a vote of Tempe citizens. Now, in the story, I obviously mentioned that there's been some polling conducted already, 2 separate polls that showed over 60% support within Tempe for this project. But we know what comes with a referendum. We have already seen a little bit of it with the flyers that went out to various communities with some scare tactics, with some misinformation saying flight paths could be redirected over their houses, the noises. It's outright lies, to be honest, but that kind of stuff happens in politics. It should be no shock to anyone with the state of American politics that stuff is going to come out. So we'll see how that impacts the way voters feel. Obviously, the Coyotes are going to do things on their own. They're going to market the heck out of this on their own as well to try and push this through to the voters. And an interesting thing that I found out that I didn't report in the story, I didn't realize that ASU residents are eligible to vote. So if you're an ASU student and you register to vote here, you can vote in this referendum. If I'm the Coyotes, I am all over that, encouraging students to sign up and vote in this, because I can't think of a single student at ASU that would not want the nightlife that entire entertainment district is going to bring. So that's an interesting wrinkle to it all. But as far as the timeline, I've talked a little bit about how this impacts things. The vote won't come till 2023. We'll see what that date is. People are throwing out March. I don't think that's accurate. Some of it will depend on what happens in those votes in November. We'll have a clearer sense of that. And I'll also be able to give people, I think, a clearer sense of why this happened at that point. Not anything that I can report right now, but there are reasons.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's concerning just to hear that vote date being pushed back because, I think the overall consent, it's funny that it's happening this weekend because the feeling around Mullett seems to be, this is really cool, this is really great, this is really fun. But 3 years of this, I don't know. And I know they have the option for the 4th, and the further this gets pushed back, assuming this all goes well, you start to think, oh my gosh, a 4th year, is that something that everyone can get behind? Obviously they have the option to do it. So this is, assuming everything goes well, you just want it to go at a quicker pace. Obviously that's not how the political process ever works, but I know that's been a concern for some people.
A couple points on that. And Javier Gutierrez also laid out the timelines when he was asked about it on Thursday. A 23 to 24 month construction cycle. That's what they think once shovels are in the ground. And then there's the 6 to 8 months to clean up the site. Now, I will say this, and he did mention a little bit of this. During the RFP process, they were allowed to do some boring into the soil. They have a sense of what they need to do, and that may speed things up a little bit once this is approved. I think you're right in assuming that there's going to be at least part of a 4th season in Mullett, but I could see it being a situation much like it was in Glendale when they moved in December of the 2003-04 season. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be here for the entire 4th season. I could see a situation where they just ended up moving in a couple months in, sort of like the Islanders did, right? It could play out that way. But again, as we know, guys, these things are so fluid. So many things can happen over the course of these negotiations and deals. A lot already has. So we'll see how it plays out. The next key dates, of course, are coming in November, and then we'll circle back again and see where it goes from there.
Yeah. I don't know. Arena news. I don't know what to say. A vote. I'm not watching another vote, Craig. I'm not watching one. I'm not watching one. I've seen, how many times I've sat and watched public television in my house rooting for this thing? I don't know. I want to say 20 years, but it's been a long time. So I'll let you can do this one again.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
But definitely check out Craig's article because it lays all of this out in detail with, quotes from Javier and quotes from, Mayor Corey Woods and all of that. So
and the Chamber of Commerce too. I should note that as well, that there's a lot of business support locally for this deal as well. And the Chamber of Commerce put together a committee, and it involved a lot of business leaders just to get a deeper understanding of this deal. And they came away really impressed, and they think this is a really good deal for the city as well.
Yeah, I don't think that, and my glib attitude for this, I don't think this is bad news. I think this is just another step in the process of getting the TED done. I think they're still going the right direction. I think things are still positive. I think everything's fine. We've had plenty of panic moments over the last 25 years here. This is not one of them. Things are fine.
I would agree with that.
Things are moving in the right direction. The ball is moving down the field. Everything is okay. Take a deep breath and just hang in there, Coyote fans, because I think this is going to go the way we all hoped it would.
Look, and I know there are a lot of reactions out there on Twitter, and you see them from out of town as well. Shocking. You don't have all the information, so careful with your judgments, careful with your opinions, careful who you're throwing under the bus at this point, because I don't think you have the full picture. So just wait. More information will come out after those votes, and you'll have a clearer picture.
Yep. Definitely just stay tuned. Craig will have more on this going forward, and that story today is unlocked on gophnx.com, but become a member because that is the sort of reporting Craig is doing. It's not just hockey reporting when you cover the Coyotes, it's political reporting as well. So, support Craig and all of the other talented writers at PHNX by becoming a member, and you can grab a shirt from the locker when you sign up for an annual membership. You can also have access to the members only Discord where we get to talk hockey all day, every day, and you can, hop into any of the team spaces as well. So whether you're watching the Cardinals lose to Petey's Vikings or watching the Coyotes lose to the Rangers, or I don't know what's going on in the Suns game, they are winning currently in the fourth quarter.
Or even watching the Sun Devils beat Petey's North Dakota.
Yes, wow. Which we're going to get into in a little bit. I saved it.
Boy,
I saved it for the end. So
okay.
We'll get to that in a little bit. But Craig, do you want to hang or do you want to head out?
I can hang a little longer.
Okay. So yeah. I'm currently sweating a bet right now because I have a bet on the Bills-Packers game, and the Bills currently have 27 points. I need over 28.5, so I just need a field goal. Anything. A field goal, a touchdown, I'll take it. I'm sweating this bet. There's 2 minutes left in that game. But if they get it, then I win on the DraftKings Sportsbook app because it is the best place to bet on football, hockey, basketball. Hopefully that one comes through for me. I really enjoy betting on DraftKings, and you certainly can too. If you bet the Suns tonight, you could win some money if they keep this lead. And if you're a new customer, you can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. And you can also boost your winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. It's simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code PHNX. That's code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Okay, I'm going to swing back around, and we're going to go back to this game for a little bit because there's a couple of things we haven't gotten to that I want us to talk about. And the first one is Lawson Crouse scored his first non-empty net goal of the season for his third of the season, his first beating a goalie. But great to see Lawson Crouse finally, get on the board in that capacity. We saw a really prolific goal scoring year from him last year. And when we spoke to him over the summer, he talked about, setting a high goal for himself. So great to see him get in that stat line tonight.
His dad was here too, so kind of nice that he scored in front of his dad.
Love it.
Yeah.
Petey.
No, it just kept the power play rolling. He did it. We talked about the puck movement on the power play, and it was absolutely you score power play goals by having more than one option. And you have Guenther down low, which you got. If you watch that, Barrett Hayton is the one that draws the coverage to him on the other side of the net, which left Crouse all alone in the slot, which there should have been somebody on him, but they're worried about Barrett Hayton on the back door. So having more than one option is what creates opportunities on the power play, and that's how Crouse is able to be all alone in the slot for his first pass to goaltender.
What did you guys think of Barrett Hayton tonight? He obviously hit the post. He's been a little bit quieter since the preseason, but feel like he's, getting more in I don't know how to describe it, like more in scoring situations than he was before.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing he was doing is you looked at what did he end up in the faceoff circle?
Oh, he was like 10-1 at some point.
83% in the faceoff circle. He hit the post. He's a guy on the second power play unit. This is what we said when we talked about the Barrett Hayton, where he's going to fit on that spot where he's playing right now. I don't know if you're going to call it third line, second line. The lines, it's hard to say what's 2, 3, and 4, but he's slotting in and doing his job. He's winning faceoffs. He's killing penalties. He's on the second power play unit. He's on the ice, seems like all the time, and he's doing his job. So, you want to see him provide some offense, but it's going to come for him. I think he gets better every game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. He's obviously been struggling. I don't think it's for lack of effort. He's really been pushing hard, but a couple people said that he's just sorry to use the cliche, but gripping it a little too tight right now. I think he had the big preseason. There's a lot of talk from maybe some stupid journalists who were predicting a breakout and maybe put some pressure on him. And
Craig, I think he lays awake at night and thinks, I have to live up to Craig Morgan's prediction for me. I know that really weighs on him, I'm sure.
I think he's put a lot of pressure on himself early.
Yeah.
After the offseason he had, there was a lot of talk internally about him. So, yeah, hopefully he gets one or two and gets it going.
Yep, definitely. Another player that has been consistent so far is JJ Mosier, who had a diving block shot in the third period to keep it close. There in the third, he continues to be a calm presence on the back end for the Coyotes.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one player that we probably haven't talked about enough, who's blended in a lot more seamlessly than I thought he would, is Juuso Välimäki. I think he's been pretty good for this team so far. The thing that I had heard about him was that his skating was not the best, and when you have leg injuries, that compounds it. It's hard to come back, but he's looked pretty good. He's looked pretty steady, so that's a nice little find for them.
Yeah, I thought he's been mobile. I mean, for a guy, I think he moves the puck up the ice well. He ends up being +1 tonight. You talked about Mosier led all Coyotes with 24 minutes on ice tonight. He's out there all the time. He's just a kid.
Yeah.
So we talk about the future and the rebuild, and JJ Moser is absolutely going to be a part of what comes out on the other side of this tunnel. So I think both of those defensemen, Craig, have definitely helped this team. I think Valimaki's been able to defend well. I think he moves well enough to get the puck out of the zone safely, and he didn't cause the team any problems. And then when you're trying to fit into a new system and find your way, you just don't want to end up on the minus side of the plus minus, and he's not doing that. So I like the way he's defended so far.
Definitely. Were there any other points from tonight's game specifically that we didn't talk about that either of you would like to make sure we talk about?
No, I mean, I could talk about Artemi Panarin, but then I just get upset with Stan Bowman again. So what a goal off the rush, though.
Where did he play before this? Did he play somewhere else before New York? Got him. Oh, boy.
What a goal off the rush, huh? Speed.
Yeah.
He leaned into Ghost to get around him, and then he found that 2 inches of daylight that you could shoot and put the puck there.
Okay, you brought this up, Craig, and so I'm going to go there, and I'm sorry. I'm going to put my negative hat on for 1 minute.
For a minute?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, you're playing the New York Rangers, and you talk about this team needing to play mistake-free hockey almost all the time. So when the puck goes into the Ranger zone and the Ranger defenseman has the puck looking at you, that is not a green light to make a change. All 5 Coyotes, go to the bench to make a change. And that includes your 2 defensemen. So when you make defenseman changes, when the Rangers have the puck on their top of the circle facing you, you're in trouble. And so it's a foot race between Ghost is coming off the bench. So he's got to come from the bench and chase down Artemi Panarin. So defenseman holds, you wait. I'm sorry, if you're tired, you wait. You don't have the puck. You wait. So you wait for the change, and he would have been able to have a better angle on Panarin than Gostisbehere had. So it's not Gostisbehere's fault. It was a bad change.
No,
so he's chasing
not at all.
the
I agree with that.
And so I'm frustrated that you change 5 players when the Rangers are looking at you. You say you change when you see numbers. So when you see the back of the guy's jersey, then you change because he's got to go back, retrieve the puck, and then come back at you. It was a poor change that led to that goal. And I know we haven't talked about it yet, Craig, but that first goal to me, again, it's where I get frustrated with this team is their defensive zone coverage, and it's an issue, it's a problem, and they're going to have to correct it. Otherwise, they're going to give tap-in goals to players like Lafreniere. And so that's a frustration for me.
PD, what was did you have your PD's puck talk ready? Was it about this?
Should we dive into the game? Craig, can you see?
I can see it.
Yeah, Craig can see.
I'm gonna make this quick.
Yeah, if you were here last season, PD would often break down either goals for or goals against. So this is PD's puck talk, and PD, go for it.
Yep. We're going to talk about defensive zone coverage, and we talk about protecting the front of the net. That's the most area of the ice. And in this play, you're going to see Lafreniere's pinched up against the boards. Crouse hasn't pinched against the wall. Lafreniere's the goal scorer. He's pinched against the wall. Gostisbehere's on Miller. The Coyotes play man on man. Okay. And this is going to be how the Coyotes play this. So the puck goes up the ice from here. Crouse has Lafreniere pinned down the wall. Gostisbehere has Miller. The next slide. So now Miller's gone up the wall, so Gostisbehere follows him up the wall. Crouse has Lafreniere on the ice. Lafreniere's fallen down. The mistake here is Crouse goes to the front of the net and leaves Lafreniere all alone. Keller leaves the middle of the ice, and he goes to Miller. Now we've got 2 players on one. When you're watching a game and you see 2 players on one player, somebody's open. And so when Keller and Gostisbehere both go to Miller, now you look at the open ice behind Panarin and Trouba are both open. Now the next slide is going to be when we talk about system play, we talk about talk it and tip it. They don't have their defenseman climb man on man. In Andre Tournier's system, you'll see defensemen up as far as the blue line. Tippett and Tocchet didn't play that way. So when you see the green arrow, that's Gostisbehere. He would have gone back to the front of the net. His responsibility is to keep players from getting to the net. That's what Gostisbehere would have done. Crouse would have gone up to cover the middle of the ice where Panarin is, and Boyd would have gone up cover where Trouba is. So everybody's covered. In that system, they always have defensemen in front of the net, where in Tournier's system is man-on-man, which is easier to play. In the Colorado Avalanche play man-on-man. Very good teams play man-on-man. So I'm not faulting the system, but you have to play it correctly. So as Gostisbehere goes up in this system, it leaves openings in behind. I like defensemen by the front of the net. We go to the next slide. So now you see Crouse is drifting towards the front of the net, and in the back of the ice, nobody's looking for Lafreniere. And here comes Panarin wheeling down the front of the net, which I thought should have been picked up by Crouse, but now it's Boyd's guy. You go to the next slide. Boyd has let Panarin go. Nobody sees Lafreniere coming off the wall. Gostisbehere is racing back as fast as he can. He was covering Miller out at the blue line. He races back as fast as he can and tries to recover for Krause's mistake in the net front and tries to get to Lafreniere, and it ends up in the back of the net. So what I don't like to see, and we talk about coverage, when you're watching the Coyotes play and you see two players going towards one player, and sometimes it's three players going towards one player, you know somebody behind you is going to be open. So when Lawson Crouse is skating towards the net and he sees his defenseman with one Ranger, he has to know that's his man. There's somebody else coming. I need to look around and find somebody. Crouse has to put his head on the swivel and find Lafreniere coming towards the front of the net. And that's too bad. And that's how defensive breakdowns happen.
Well, PD, that was great. Well
I
explained.
know you're listening on audio. Just
No,
you explained. You described
you gotta watch
it well,
that
though.
one. Yeah, but they should watch that one. So
yeah.
But that's Craig. We've talked about this before. And one of the things when I watch teams and you watch the New York Rangers, when a defenseman is chasing a forward up the ice, and we call it up the wall or scissors or all kinds of, when he starts to climb the wall, the New York Rangers defenseman will stop. They'll stop at the hash mark and come back to the front of the net because they know the most dangerous area is the front of the net. So you'll see them start, and then they'll come back to the net. I was just watching the Boston Bruins earlier today. Same thing. They'll start to climb, and then they'll come right back to the front of the net. You see other teams like Colorado. I watched Cale Makar outside the blue line yesterday covering on a man-on-man coverage. It's about 50-50 right now in teams that cover man-on-man. And I think man-on-man leaves a lot of things in front of the net where you get a forward playing defenseman in theory, where he's trying to defend a net front and you've got a forward down there. And that's one of the things I always thought you want defensemen defending. So look for that as the Coyotes continue to play this season. Watch defensemen climb. So when you see a defenseman up at the blue line, make sure that the guy in front of the net is actually defending and blocking and boxing out. Sorry, that's my hockey talk. I'm done.
No, that's your hockey talk. It's okay.
Petey's puck talk.
Is what we do here. Yeah. There were a lot of moments in this game that I was stressed out. When they went down was one. When anytime the Rangers were on the power play was one. But luckily I had a Four Peaks beer with me at all times during the game. And by the way, check out this shirt. Four Peaks Oktoberfest.
Nice.
Wow,
this is the shirt I got. I was telling everybody, go to the tap room yesterday. If you went, let me know. Lots of exciting stuff coming up with Four Peaks, by the way. We are teaming up with Four Peaks to host all U.S. and Mexico World Cup matches at their 8th Street Pub. Enjoy beer specials, giveaways, guest appearances, and more. Check the link in the show notes to register for free. I saw so many commercials for the World Cup today while watching football this morning. It got me really excited. I love the World Cup, and you can enjoy it at Four Peaks. You must be 21 or older to drink and enjoy responsibly. And also, I was really missing, we're home today. I was missing our recliners. It's now been 2 games that I haven't watched a game in those recliners, and I miss them. So I don't know. I might have to browse More Furniture's fall sale and treat myself, maybe make some room here in my apartment. But if you're looking to spruce up your home, check out More Furniture fall sale at morefurniture.com, and you'll receive a $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend. All right, let's get into some other hockey news, Arizona hockey adjacent news.
Yeah,
and you see the pitchfork behind Craig right now. He's standing in the Mullett, and the Sun Devils had a huge win last night in Las Vegas over North Dakota, 3-2 to upset the number 6 ranked team. What are we looking at?
Looking at a North Dakota jersey. Okay.
Oh.
Petey's. Love it. That was, wow, what a win for this program. I don't know if you guys saw the visuals at T-Mobile, but it was a sea of green. North Dakota travels well. As Greg Powers told me before that game, they're not just a blue blood. They are the blue blood program. North Dakota is it. And in that hostile environment against the number 6 team in the country, ASU falls behind 2-0 very early in the game. You could be completely rattled in that situation with the crowd on you. They claw back and they win the game on Robert Mastrosimoni's breakaway. What a win for this program. I might argue that this is the biggest win in program history, and this just might vault this program into much bigger things.
Yeah, I think this gets them on the map nationally. I know they had a good game and a good weekend in Duluth and Bemidji, but this gets them on the map nationally. You beat North Dakota in a game like this that was recognized, coast to coast. People are watching this Hall of Fame game, and like you said, down 2-0, 5 minutes in, like you're going, oh no, this is going to get ugly. And not only does it not get ugly, North Dakota can't find their offense, and in the third period, they don't get shots on goal. They don't have scoring chances. It was ASU was the better team down the stretch in this game. So huge win. I mean, not just in the standings and stats and pairwise and the ability to make the NCAA tournament, but can you imagine a confidence builder beating a team that, as you said, this is beating Alabama. I mean, this is a big deal. This is the team that's expected to be in the national championship in the Final Four year after year. And this is huge for this program. And you see what they put out socially in what Greg Powers did and said and his emotions in that locker room and on the bench. If I'm a kid sitting across the country going, yeah, hell yeah, I want to go play there. Like, yeah, nothing helps recruiting like winning. And this kind of story helps that program immensely. I can just, sky's the limit. Building's phenomenal. If they start winning and they make the NCAA tournament, just open the door. Here's Tempe. Here's our rink. Okay, here's our weather. Go to Houghton, Michigan. Go to Grand Forks. Okay, go to Bemidji.
Here's our weather.
And then come back and see me.
They did, the pairwise rankings came out. They're now 22 overall in that. And like Craig, I think, said on Twitter earlier, if they hadn't lost that first game against Minnesota after a goal was called off, they would probably be in. Yeah, they'd probably be in an even better position than
they'd be like 14 because I asked Greg Powers and he has this down to a science. He can tell you everything about the pairwise. And by the way, Greg was back here. He was at the game tonight. These guys are pumped. This coaching staff is pumped. The players are pumped. Frank Ferraro, who's basically the director of hockey operations, they're all just so pumped right now about that win. They understand what a watershed moment that can be for this program.
Super exciting for the Sun Devils. And 2 hours down south, by the way, the Tucson Roadrunners are on a roll. They've won 4 in a row. Carcone is leading the team with 11 points in 6 games. Absolutely unbelievable. Parazitov has a .947 save percentage, and the Roadrunners are currently 2nd in the Pacific Division, 3rd in the Western Conference. So good start to the season for the Tucson Roadrunners as well.
I'm just going to, one quick comment there is just, this is what you expected from the Tucson Roadrunners last year. But when the Coyotes were decimated with injuries and the whole Roadrunner squad came up to the big club, they didn't have a chance. And right now, the thing that's in their favor is you're not seeing the injury bug go through the Coyotes locker room. So this is a good hockey team. The coaching staff is really positive of what they have down there, and this is what a development team should look like. This is what you want to see in a team that's supposed to be winning in the National Hockey League 3 years from now. You want to see an American League team winning. So this is good news for the rebuild.
It's a good thing that they've got a team down in Tucson, isn't it, Petey? Because I don't think the college team has a Division I program. I'm just saying.
I don't know how to answer that.
Oh,
shots
taking
fired.
Shots, just constantly
shots
taking shots.
Shots fired.
Shots anyway, fired. That's it for me, guys. I'll leave on that note. On that
all right
note, I'll check.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks. And
Craig has his quick drive home. And by the way, I saw a comment from Joel earlier that he got home while we were still on our post-game show,
Unreal.
Which is a first. So
I think Craig should start taking the scooter. Get those scooters. Can you lime scooter at home, Craig? buzzing down buzzing your way to Gilbert.
Losing it. I'm dying. Oh my god. All right, Craig. We'll talk to you later.
See you Tuesday.
Bye.
See you, buddy.
My goodness. All right. Wow. That was awesome. There's a lot of negativity in our comment section tonight.
I know. I'm ignoring it.
I am too, about the number of Rangers fans there tonight, the amount of
have they not been to the building before?
And
remember
I guess
the Red Wings used to come, the Blackhawks, it was literally 70 or 80.
It was just at Gila River it was just 17,000, but it's the same ratio, just shrunk down to 4,600. And I think maybe we got a false sense because on Friday the Coyotes jerseys really outnumbered the Jets, but the Rangers are going to draw. I know that upset people. I know people were upset about the old men in the student section. It's not always going to be like Friday night. I think it's a reality check that we have to all kind of get a hold of, because that's just, as long as the Coyotes are selling tickets, and maybe you disagree with that, that's how I feel. We got to ride this situation out. And as the more years the Coyotes are in Arizona, the more fans they'll build. And as they, begin this partnership with ASU and start to have outreach on campus, and, I know there were students in the student section on Friday night that was their first National Hockey League game. And maybe they went on Friday and they're going to tell their friends, hey, it's only $25. And this is just going to build and grow. So like the product on the ice, the rebuild, the tank, we have to have patience. We have to have patience with the crowd situation too. But if you really feel strongly about it being primarily Coyotes fans in the stands, then get on the Game Time app and buy tickets. I checked today. The games Tuesday and Thursday this week, $70 tickets right now on Game Time, and I guarantee you they will be cheaper on the day of the game. So check it out. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, get a group together and put on your kachinas and go to Mullett Arena, pack it, but do it on Game Time, because you're not going to find cheaper tickets anywhere else. You can save up to 60% when you buy the day of the game. And if you buy with the link in our description, it helps us out immensely. And we love to hear people's experiences. Talk to a couple of people on Friday who had bought their tickets on Game Time. It's super easy to use. So, until this team, has a generation of Coyotes fans grow up, this is how it's going to be. That's just my
Yeah, and you know what, Leah? It helped. It's the New York Rangers. They've been around for over 100 years. They've won Stanley Cups. You've got people that have transplanted from New York to here that maybe cheer for the Coyotes 81 times a year, but that time the Rangers are here, they root for the Rangers. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Knock yourself out. The Coyotes, you know what they want? If they want to have their building full of Coyotes jerseys, you know what you do? You win a Stanley Cup. And then that all goes away. You become it's okay. Everybody's fine. And if it's Ranger jerseys, that's fine. I guess, you know what? There won't be full of Florida Panther jerseys on Tuesday. Might be a handful, but it ain't going to be half the Mullett full of Florida Panthers jerseys. So everything's fine. I'm okay with the Ranger jerseys, and we're going to see it when Chicago comes and Detroit comes. We've seen it that way for 20 years. Everything's fine.
And when Toronto comes too.
Yep. Full building's fine. Everybody, the guys want to play in front of a full building. They love to have a home crowd, but guess what? They just want to play in front of a full building, whether it's 5,000 or 25,000. They just want to play in front of full. And you know, if you don't like it, like you said, Leah, put on a Coyote jersey and go to the game.
Yep. And you're still getting the good atmosphere. There's some questions if their student tickets are every game. We will look into that for sure, because I'm not actually 100%
They're going to vary, I think, based on the games, and they're going to be premier games that have fewer student tickets, and they're going to be games that have more student tickets.
Yeah. So if you see Old Men and Rangers jerseys in the student section, they bought them. I don't think students were selling them.
Right.
And Joel said he got his tickets on Game Time. We love to hear it, Joel. Thank you. Well, before we close out tonight, I want to talk about Halloween. We obviously started the show in our costumes.
Yeah, Craig missed that.
Craig was, you think Craig would have? Well, actually, he did put on a costume last year. I'll give him some credit.
He did. If we were in studio and he would have come
here. And this was the show last year that I Am Beer was born.
This was the I Am Beer show.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But Petey has to flaunt a little bit here, because Petey, what did you text me earlier? You're the defending
We're the
HOA.
defending, well, it's more my wife, the Halloween lady, defending HOA Halloween decorating contest winners at our house. So when you win, you need to show up, and it's not about inflatables. That's cheating. So we don't make inflatables. I guess we have a skeleton that we bought, but we made our stuff. Like, it's homemade stuff. And we put a lot of effort into, well, she does. I do all the work. She just tells me what to do. And by the way, that day, there was a lot of Four Peaks on setup day, because I was a little grumpy on setup day. But Sean, we'll just show a couple things about the Halloween festivities. There's a spider web going all the way up the front of our house. So with the spiders attached to it, that's a giant spider web. That was kind of like the centerpiece. Everything's got to be lit, by the way.
Love it.
To keep out, just the old palette. Look at the red lights, the hands coming out from underneath. It's chained shut. That's super cool and homemade. That looks really scary. And then we've got the in the back, just a garbage bag with a scream mask way in the back by a door, so you barely see it.
I like the red lighting.
Yeah, everything gets its own spotlight. You guys see the piece there is all the ghosts homemade, just a little stick in a sheet. with some iron-on eyes, all homemade. And then if you look at the middle, the Michael Myers, like I know you can buy those for a couple $100. That's homemade. Like that, his skeleton is made
No.
out of PVC pipe. His legs are metal poles into the ground. And then we got, no lie, if you look on the right, it's Jason. He's inside our window on the second story, and he's got a red light in our guest room, and he's on all night. Both of them are blow-up dolls. And before you say anything, they're actually called blow-up costume mannequins on Amazon. So you blow them up and you dress them, and that's Halloween at our house. And voting was last night. So we'll see if we've retained the HOA Halloween Day. We better.
I have to ask, because I remember this was a point of discussion last year. Are you passing out candy to trick-or-treaters?
Buddy. Well, the answer is yes, but passing out is a stretch. So in our driveway, I sit at the one end of the driveway where the door is. I sit there. I have a TV out. Monday Night Football clearly will be on, watching football, cooler of beer next to me, between me and my wife, and we will not go anywhere near a kid, because at the end of the driveway, there is a bucket on a table with a light, and they come by and go, trick, yeah, cute costume, grab some candy. Like, HK, like, go. Like, I don't want to, the worst thing is to be watching Monday Night Football and bing bong, and you got to go get the door. Like, and then you sit down and they're about to have another play and bing bong. And like, I don't want to, oh, you got a cute, you're what, a werewolf. Like, no, like just grab the candy and move along. So we put the candy at the end of the driveway. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to deal with anybody. I just drink beer and go, oh, hi, grab what you want. And that's it. That's our Halloween. It's a contactless Halloween, and it has nothing to do with COVID, because we did it years and years before COVID.
You did it before it was trendy.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Yeah. Nobody interfere with Petey as he's watching Monday Night Football, drinking his Four Peaks and checking his
100%.
pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy. Did you play Underdog today for the NFL?
I didn't today.
I did for hockey and football, and I lost. I should have bought insurance, which is something you can do when you play the pick'em game. It does make it a little bit more fun. And something I've been doing lately, and I'm kind of learning that I shouldn't, is putting a higher half a point for Shane Gostisbehere, who has been pointless the last two games. That is something we actually haven't talked about. He has been very, productive for this Coyotes team this season, and a little bit not only quiet these last two games offensively, but a couple defensive mistakes as well. So hopefully maybe I'll just stop putting money on him on Underdog, and then he'll get back. Much like Barrett Hayton lies awake at night thinking about Craig, putting that pressure on him. Yeah. Shane Gostisbehere thinks about me putting money on him on Underdog. But if you want to get in on the Underdog action, it is a lot of fun, I promise you. And all you have to do is search the App Store or click on the link in our show notes. Sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PHNX, and get in on the action today. Play Pick'em, play daily fantasy with any sport, the World Series, NHL, NFL, NBA. It's all going on. It's the best time of year for sports. Petey.
Yeah, and you know what? I just want to end on positive, because I did some ranting. Gostisbehere is leading this team in goals and points. He's in top 5 in the defenseman scoring in the National Hockey League. He's playing lights out. Good for him. Bad for the Coyotes, because he will probably be trade bait by the trade deadline.
Is it bad, though? It's not bad.
It's
not bad for the future.
More return, for sure. Yep. So happy for him. We talked about Guenther and what he was able to do tonight. We talked about the goaltending. Ingram was absolutely fantastic tonight. Crouse with the goal, and Michelli, I thought, had the puck on his stick like a string several times through the game tonight. So a lot of positives. There's a lot of good things from tonight.
Yeah.
And we got to root for individual efforts again in an exciting game where they lost the points. They're tied for last right now with the Anaheim Ducks, and guess what? That's okay.
Yep, you're right. Let's end it on the positive note, like you said, because to lose a 1-goal game to a team like the Rangers is a huge accomplishment for this team. They didn't go to overtime. They didn't get that point. And for the sake of the home opener at Mullett, I'm glad that game had that excitement. For this one, it's okay. Like you said, Dylan Guenther, he had 2 points tonight. He's making a case. We saw Lawson Crouse get on the board. We saw Bjugstad get on the board. Connor Ingram, I need to bring it back to him. The unbelievable night he had. So lots of positives. A 1-goal close game. I was sincerely entertained watching this game. There have been many Coyotes games that have been borderline painful to watch. This was not one of them. This was a fun, fast, exciting, entertaining game, and it makes me hopeful for the years that the Coyotes will be competitive down the road. So
absolutely.
Got to end it on a positive. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Did we do a punch card, Leah?
We didn't.
Okay.
Chiming
the next
in.
one's got to be a win.
I know. Chiming in the comments. We do appreciate you all. And it is good that, like Petey alluded to, that the Coyotes lost because we have a pattern on our hands. Sean, pull it up. If you're watching on YouTube, the punch card, we have loss, loss, win, loss, loss, win, loss, loss, a win on Tuesday, perhaps? Question mark against the Panthers. I don't know, but you know, we didn't think the Coyotes would keep it this close with the Rangers. So I say anything can happen. I would love that beautiful pattern in the first row there on the punch card. Why not? And then I mentioned the Panthers coming in. Let's just take a look at the upcoming schedule. We got the Panthers coming in Tuesday, the Stars on Thursday, and then back on the road for that long road trip on Saturday against the Capitals back to the East Coast. But they won't be on the road the entire time. They'll be making some trips home, but back on the road on Saturday. So that's what's ahead. And if that calendar is also our show schedule, essentially 4 post-game shows this week. And then we'll have an audio episode Wednesday as well. You'll want to stay tuned for that one. So be sure to be subscribed to PHNX Coyotes wherever you listen to your podcasts, and subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you never miss a show. We sincerely appreciate all of you being here, always being here for Pack Therapy after every single game. Love everybody's comments. I know it's tough sometimes, but we're making it through. And thank you also for getting us to 4,000 Twitter followers at PHNX_Coyotes. Keep sharing it with your friends, your family. Follow, like, retweet, etc. We're growing, and we are so thrilled that you are all here, a part of it. Petey, anything else you want to say before we head out?
No, let's get ready to go for the next one at the Mullett and hopefully get a win before they go back out on the road.
I would love one win at the Mullett before they go. We'll see. But maybe they'll in December when they're back at the nice annex, which we have heard from sources, it is going to be very nice. So looking forward to that. We'll be off tomorrow, back again Tuesday for the post-game show. So join us then. Follow along on Twitter. You can follow me at Leah Merrill. You can follow Petey at S Peters Hockey. Follow Craig at Craig S Morgan. You can follow Sean at Sean_DePaz. Thank you all again for listening, for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see everybody on Tuesday.